We want to look now at graphing inequalities. Now, we did some graphing inequalities on a number line, but we want to now look at it how we would graph them on a number plane. So if we follow, there's a process to follow, so we want to make sure we follow that process every time we do a question. Now, like we did with solving inequalities, we end up with an inequality, and to start off with, we're going to start with simple ones, like y is less than 2, but we've got to see that it's related to the line y is equal to 2. So the process of graphing an inequality is to look at the equation or inequality we've got and the relationship that we've got. And we ignore the sign to start off with and look at the line that would be created. Or later on, parabola or hyperbola or whatever we could get. But all these ones are going to be about lines. So we look at that and look at the relationship. So we take y is equal to 2 and we would graph that first. Now, what we want to do is look at the idea of what if it was y is less than 2, or y is less than or equal to 2, or y is greater than 2, or what if it was y is greater than or equal to 2. So the first things first we should do, if it is equal to, then we're going to have a solid line. If that says just less than or greater than, we'd have a dotted line. So that's what that's what we're looking to do. So if it's a solid line here, we'd be looking for it to be represented with a solid line. And you can see in the next one here, it's just x is less than greater than minus 2, so it's a dotted line. So that's the first thing you got to do. You got to draw up your line first, whatever it would be, whether it's y is equal to 2, x is equal to minus 2, or y is equal to x, or whichever way the line's going. Sorry about that. We would get a situation where we're going to have the line drawn and have it either dotted or solid, depending on whether it's equal to, not equal to something, or equal to something. So in this case, we've got to consider our numbers then. So in this case, if we're looking at the numbers for y being less than 2, then that would be every number below y being equal to 2. If y is greater than 2, we're talking about every point up here having the y coordinate greater than 2. So we'd be shading, there'd be everything there, so we'd shade it. And we can see that with this one here. So if x is greater than minus 2, well, that's what we said, we dot the line. But then we're going to consider every value of x is greater than minus 2. So if that's the case, we would shade all this area. So you can see why every point here is filled in basically. So that's why we shade it. And on this side of the line, it'd leave it unshaded, because any value over here is greater than minus 2. So that's why we're going to shade. So when we have a line, really, it's going to cut our plane in half as such. And that's where we get the idea of a half plane, because one side of the line shaded, the other one isn't. We look at the next example here. Y is greater than or equal to x plus 2. So what we need to do is graph this first. So we graph the line y is equal to x plus 2. Now it's equal to, so that's why it's solid. Then we have to determine, well, which side is going to be shaded. As we said, one side of the line is shaded, the other one isn't. Now all what we need to do for that is just test a point. Test a point in the inequality. And it could be any point. Now, a lot of times you're going to see in examples 0, 0 being tested. Why 0, 0? Because it's the easiest point to substitute in. So in this case, we substitute 0 for y and 0 for x. Now, if we have a look here, we get our right-hand side being 0 plus 2, which is 2, and our left-hand side, which would be 0. So in this case, our left-hand side would be less than our right-hand side. So it wouldn't be the same as this inequality, which basically means the statement would be false. So 0, 0 is not in that region. So 0, 0 is outside the region, which means, well, we shade the other side of that line. So as we said, we have to shade one side or the other. If we test 0, 0, if 0, 0 part held, if we put it in and that statement was true, then we'd shade this side because 0, 0 would be in it. So if that was y is less than or equal to x plus 2, we would have been shading this side because 0, 0 would make that statement true then. So that's what we need to do. Graph our line, test a point in the inequality, and if the point works, we shade that side. If it doesn't, we shade the other side. So again, here's a couple of more examples. Sketching the graphs here. Y greater than or equal to x is equal to 1. So the first thing, sketch the graph. So we sketch y is equal to x minus 1. Decide whether the line's solid or broken. It's greater than or equal to. So we make sure we make it a solid line. Check whether 0, 0 is included. So we check 0, 0, and here's the proof there. The right-hand side is equal to minus 1. So the left-hand side will be greater than the right-hand side. So that means that 0, 0 is in the region. We shade that region. And then the region should be shaded. So we just do our shading there. So that if you follow that process, you should get it right every time. So we're going to do the next one. And so we graph 2x plus y is equal to 4. So they've done it by finding the intercepts. And again, you can know how to get 2 points, graph a line, and so that line's graphed. It's only less than in this case. So 2x plus y is less than 4. So it's going to be a broken line because it's not included in the region. No matter which side we go, the line's not included because it's not equal to it. So again, check 0, 0, so your left-hand side would be 2 lots of 0 plus 0, which works out to be less than 4. So the statement stays true when we put 0, 0 in for x and y. So our left-hand side is less than our right-hand side, so 0, 0 is included in the side that we're going to shade. And then so we do that shading. So there's how we start to do these questions. So follow that process every time. If we follow that process, we should not run into too many hassles. Graph our line, decide whether it's a solid line or broken line, test a point, and usually 0, 0, unless the line goes through 0, 0, and then you can test any other point. And then once you've decided which side is to be shaded, we shade it in. So there's our process. We'll have a look in some more videos at some questions and see how we go with them.